at Medicare Gurus and Insurasales, and today we are doing our sales dojo. So if for you, those of you who are just attending for the first time, right now every day we get together during our lunch period, and for those who want to attend and one of you and want to participate, they're allowed to come in. As you can see and probably hear in the background, we also have people that are actively selling on the floor. So you will see some people come in and go out to make sales or come in from sales. So bear with us. But the way this is going to go is that our guys are sitting here and they're going to have questions, or going to have issues, or they're going to have just any good points of information they want to bring up, and we're just going to discuss it in an open format. So hopefully it'll be a lot of fun, and we're all going to learn a whole lot from it. So with that,
topic.
There you go.
I'd like to talk about winning and losing. You know, obviously people in sales, we expect to win, you know, on every sale, but we're going to lose some. In fact, I always say, you know, if you're not losing a few, you're not working. And the thing is, you know, how do you deal with those losses? You know, do you blame the client or customer, or do you go back and try to analyze why you lost so you can move forward, you know, so you don't do it again? So just want to throw that out there and see what, I mean, we all hate to lose. I mean, that's
I hate to lose.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, hate losing.
You guys know me, I'm as competitive as hell, you know. But it's one of those things that, you know, I mean, there's so many obstacles we have in sales. Things get thrown at us, you know. It's very important how you deal with those
Move
things.
that open here, Tim.
You know, I mean, it's easy to get frustrated, you know. You can dial all day long, you know, not getting anybody on the phone. You get frustrated, you start hating things. And, you know, what goes between your two ears is the most important thing out there. So how do you guys deal with loss and rejection and that's it?
I think you just got to label and have every single outcome that you could possibly think of and let them know. Like the lady I called today, oh, by the way, you remember the company we used to underwrite for dementia and Alzheimer's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no longer. That's switched.
Rode that course for a while.
I think that is state specific.
It might be. We'll see. We'll do a little bit of research. That was in Pennsylvania, but she was calling for a mom who was 83, and she said, you know, my mom's been perfectly healthy. She has this old Plan C, and now it's up to $350, and I just want to shop around. I want to see what I can do. Said, okay, well, you know, we'll look into it. Got into it. She takes metformin and she takes donepezil. So she has been diagnosed with cognitive disorders.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, I had to kind of lay out everything on the table for her so she knew. And so, you know, we represent everybody here. The one place that we had for underwriting, it looks like they're not going to take it. What I did was I called Cigna underwriters while I was on the phone with the daughter so she could hear as well too. And Cigna said that they would take the standard 2, or she can answer yes to the question with the doctor's note ruling out Alzheimer's, just having it be dementia. And so she heard the whole process. She heard every step of the way that I had to go through. And so really what she's going to do, number one, she's going to call Mutual of Omaha, which is her current company, see if they can bump that from a C to a Plan G. Because I know sometimes with a little bit of the questionable health, they can go through. We've seen it before. It's happened to you and me multiple times where stuff we say, oh, sorry, you can't qualify. And then boom, somehow they end up with a good plan. So I recommend to her first. Second, I recommended to her, we need to get the doctor's note. We need to do the Cigna application, but we need the note before we do it. So that way we don't have any hiccups. Step number 3, went over trial right with her because she's never been in an Advantage plan. She had the same Plan C since she was 65. And then option number 4, since she does get prescription assistance from the state of Pennsylvania, described the Advantage plan route where if she did want to just go straight into an Advantage plan, and went through all of it. So I said, look, this is our priority. Number 1, you need to call the company, see what they can do for you. If they can't do anything, then it's my suggestion we do the Cigna plan. If for some reason the Cigna plan comes back, what we need to do, we need to look for next year. We need to look for the trial ride. That's our third option to keep her with the best coverage possible. Number 4, if that for some reason that trial ride does not go through, her only option is Advantage plans. I help with that. So no matter what we do with her, I will help her. with it. And from there, she was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. I was looking just for one person that had every option available. And I could have just told her, hey, let's do the Cigna. Go over to your mom's house, get her on the phone, let me ask her health questions. That call could have been over in 10 minutes. But instead, it was a 45-minute phone call where we have different options. And she knows that no matter what Medicare comes to her mom, and when she gets to Medicare age, there's just one person that she has to call.
I'm surprised the dementia's okay, but Alzheimer's isn't.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Well, and I think what's really unique about what you're doing is that you're setting up a no-loss scenario for the client. Because you remember the old training we used to do with the slides and everything else out there. One of the primary motivators for people, especially in our age demographic that we're dealing with, is that fear of loss itself is a huge motivator of action or inaction. So if you set up an actual no-loss scenario for your client where there's not then they tend to be a lot more open. They know that you got them no matter what. So that's a really good thing, man. So that's awesome. So it pays dividends when you take that extra time. So who else has thoughts on that? Because this is a really great topic. I'd love to explore it.
When you go from a supplement to an advantage, that's an SEP on its own for the first year, right? If you say, do you have to go back to the same supplement?
Mm-hmm. If
You
available.
have the option to go.
So the way it works for trial, right? So this has to have been your first time in an advantage plan. You couldn't have tried one out before.
So if she had one when she
So if she had one when she was 66, we couldn't use it. But since she's 83, she's had the same plan since she was 65, which is why it's so much.
it's viable.
This is why we can do it. But for her, the ruling is you have to go back to the company and apply for what you had. Now, where a lot of people mess up with trial right is they'll sign up for an advantage plan January 1st. They'll put in the application for trial right on January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do that, the company goes, you do not have a trial right. We will reinstate your old policy.
Right.
So for her, I let her know this too. I go, look, in this order for this trial right to go through, you need to give it at least 60 days in order for you to have this viable option. So we're not looking January 10th, February 1st. This is going to be a March 1st, April 1st type of event because it takes a while too. It takes about 4 to 6 weeks for it to get a process. But for her, what she would have to do is she would have to go back to Mutual of Omaha after her period of time where she can reinstate her policy has lapsed. She has a Plan C, which they do not offer anymore, and she also has an old division of it. So they are no longer offering her plan. She cannot go back to it. At that point, Mutual of Omaha will send her a letter that says, we can no longer offer you your old coverage. Once you get that letter, you can go to any carrier and apply for any plan and be approved.
That's right.
As long as it's within that first year of your advantage plan. That's a whole lot of paperwork, but for her, that could result from a $350 Plan C now to she gets to pick which company she wants for a Plan G.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be 140, it could be 150, it could be 170. But she's not told what she has to do. She has the right to pick
So she has to stay on an advantage plan for a few months,
for a few months.
just to get everything to settle, and then she can go back.
Just because the people that we have seen it before, where if you try to do the trial right, which
It's obvious that's what you're doing.
it's obvious what you're doing. Luckily for her, she's not in too bad health.
Well, and
She has that diagnosis.
there's also a grace period for when you leave a plan or you don't pay on a plan to where they'll go, oh, no, we're just going to exercise your grace period, put you back into what you currently have. So, and that's the whole thing. Trial right is for that, is to give you a trial run on a Medicare Advantage plan and go back to the Medicare supplement world if it's not what you seek. She's a unique situation because she's in her 80s. So they stopped selling that plan.
Mm-hmm.
That is not available on the market anymore. So usually you'll have to go back to the original carrier and the original plan. But in her case, they don't sell it. So
Yeah.
it's not available on the market.
Good luck trying to get that pushed through with another company. Somebody that's 80, it's
The
a
letter-
paperwork nightmare.
It's-
The
as long
letter
as you have the
to-
letter. The letter's
The
the
letter.
hardest part of it. letter.
Mutual will provide a letter saying that that plan is no longer available
Yeah,
to
you
this
need
client.
that letter. It's a lot of paperwork and you're not gonna get paid
It's,
on it.
it's you're not going to get paid on it. It's a good Samaritan task, but it's also a long processing time.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
A lot of
Yeah, they're
work.
gonna put you through the ringer, especially when they look at the health
And
history.
even for the customer to
It was-
be in limbo like that.
Well, for
Yeah.
them, they don't. It's all about balancing your time with it. That's the issue, because in order to, you need two pieces of paper. One, you need them stating that they are ending their Advantage plan, and two, they need proof that they can't go back to their old policy. When you do that, you're usually looking at best a 3-week period
Mhm.
before you get documentation from either of those.
Yeah.
So you have to be very precise on the dates that you use. You can't really use a short month like February.
Right.
But you want to wait until you have March, and it is March 1st at 8:01, and you call the Advantage Plan company and let them know, hey, we are canceling for April 1st. Then you turn around and call Mutual, hey, we would like to, do a trial ride. Her plan is available. We need a letter stating it's not. That way she still has coverage for that month. You still have enough time to put the application in, get the letter, but it's not a overnight.
If you don't get the letter from Mutual of Omaha, can you call the Advantage Plan back and say, wait, we need another month?
Huh?
Like,
They have 12 months to do that.
no, I mean, if you've called to say we're canceling and she didn't get the letter in time, you're gonna be
Well,
without anything?
Yeah, first of all, you never wanna call to cancel. With Advantage Plans, it's either you give them something in writing and you send it certified mail, or you set them up with a drug plan, which will kick it out, because if you just call them, they will have a loss of memory.
But you need to have the Medicare supplement sewed up first
Right.
before you do anything that's going to affect that Advantage Plan or prescription coverage. So
But sometimes they want proof of the termination of the Advantage Plan before they'll approve the sub.
That's what I'm talking
They need
Yeah.
that letter, and a lot of times they don't send the letter out until after the policy's already been terminated, like 2 weeks after, and you write this up and
but at that point, you
Everybody's
have a
on
paper trail
eggshells.
saying that was the only requirement left. So
Right.
you can't control what a carrier is going to do at all times, but if you take those steps properly, that is it, and we have documentation that is what they were waiting for, then we provide that, and they go, oh, no, not going to fly.
I had a carrier I dealt with this morning, the guy that helped him with his drug plan and the premium payments. I have it on recorded call and notes documentation who I talked to on May 20th to stop his premium payment, to do a mail bill, and he asked that I be authorized user on his account so I can call without him on the phone. Called today because he's still having issues, and guess what? They did not get rid of his credit card payment plan. They did not switch him over to mail bill,
Right.
and I am not anywhere on the account.
Right.
Because that's the writing agent.
Yeah.
And you know what the funny thing is, any carriers eventually that look at this stuff or even pay attention to their agents, they better pay attention closely, because agents take note of that stuff. And don't think it doesn't affect me when I give a recommendation to a client. If that kind of crap keeps on happening with a carrier, they're not going to be in my top recommendations, period.
Try
'Cause I'm
to,
not dealing with it.
try to do trial ride with New Era.
And that's one of the issues that you run into is that, but one of the things that was said earlier is like, you're not going to get paid on it, but you know what? The bottom line is this. There's a few things to account for. Number one, yes, sometimes you're going to have to do the right thing, and it's going to cost you and your time, and you're not going to get a good reward on it. You'll get paid a little bit, but really it's not going to be that. But the bottom line is this. A, it's the right thing to do. B, it's acting in the client's best interest. C, Jacob, we're a high volume enrollment center, right? Jacob, you're dealing with that stuff right now, right? How many deals do you have your hands in yesterday?
I think 7, maybe.
7 sales yesterday. So anyone out there right now who's going, well, I don't have time for that, and they're like pushing, I think the agent average nationally is about 1 or 2 a week, right? Then you got time. And quite frankly, I know that myself personally, mentally, I can't get on the phone and say, I will operate in your best interest to every person if I don't go that extra mile to operate people's best interest. Right. So I think you're doing right.
And I tell you what, one of my best relationships that I've ever made doing this was off of a trial ride. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're
And-
referral
No,
machines.
And,
You'll
and
be-
his wife
That's-
turned,
Be their
his
agent
wife
for
turned
life.
65. He wanted ancillary products, and she was retiring from Target, and now she sends me all these Target people. She leaves me a review every year. I check in with her. They've invited me to their family
Mhm.
picnic up in DFW area. Like, he's got me on speed dial. He calls me just to say hi.
They're referral machines too. They send everyone
Yeah.
to you. They want to brag about you.
That's the upside. You know, I probably I've done like 4 of those this year so far. I'm just helping them out. You know, we're not really good, but we are gonna get a lot on the backside, even though, you know, it wasn't a money maker to begin with, but I mean, the referrals, their family, you know, whatever. You're their friend now, they'll keep buying.
And it also goes into what we were talking about with the initial topic, which is, you know, do you love to win or do you hate to lose? And that whole exercise right there, just doing whatever it takes to get it done, that's the symptom of someone that just hates losing. So,
Well, that's a win.
If anybody's name's
You
gonna
know,
be on it, it's gonna be my name.
you know, I got thoughts.
I don't care what it is.
Right.
You're
You know-
mine now.
Right.
Yeah, just
To
helping
us.
people is a win. I
Well-
mean, you don't have to make money on every deal.
And I got thoughts on that, but I want to hear from everyone else too. So what are you guys' thoughts on winning or losing? Which one is y'all's favorite and why?
Well, obviously it's winning. I mean, I'm competitive too. Losing just doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't.
So
I
do
hate-
you
I
love
hate
to
to
win
lose.
or do you hate to lose? Because I brought this up on Insuralink, which,
Oh.
by the way, check out Insuralink.
Oh, dude, you should definitely. I'm going to go ahead and start posting on it.
Well, it's an
myself.
interview question.
Do
You know,
you love to win or hate to lose? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel really though, like
hmm.
for us, it's really the win is getting that customer in the right program where they're gonna be, you know, supported the way that is optimal for them, you know. A bigger loss for me is getting somewhere like we spoke about the other day where, you know, you're not quite sure and then, well, maybe, you know, and then it turns out that it was a mistake or it wasn't the best, you know, best option. And that's the loss, really.
Or better, you have
For
everything
me
and
and
it's
the
the
customer.
best thing for the customer. You've said it's the best thing for the customer. It's demonstrably better spot than where they are. It's the best thing in the market, and they still won't do it.
Because it's some company name that they just don't like or don't heard of.
you
or
haven't
think
built the
something,
trust.
something, yeah.
It comes down to that. But I mean, the correct answer to that is, you know, salespeople, we expect to win, therefore we hate to lose. I hate to lose, you know, but losing is not a bad thing because you can get complacent if you're constantly looking for the gravy deals and you're winning all the time and, you know, but you need those losses in there. It's just like sports.
Well, it
You look
builds-
at these
it builds
teams and
character.
they become complacent and they kind of get cocky, you know, and next thing you know, some team comes around that's an underdog and beats them because they think that, you know, they don't have to work as hard.
I tell you what, along the lines of that, take a guess at what gets me more fired up.
Oh, yeah.
Selling somebody a med sub, final expense, dental, Part D, or seeing a number in the top right for a cancellation. It's cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means I didn't do something right.
Oh,
Right.
Not that they
cancellations,
didn't do something
declines. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a call to.
Or they didn't trust you enough to tell you everything because they didn't believe that you were the one that was actually able to get it done regardless.
Chargebacks are another one. I see a chargeback, I'm on the phone right
blood
away.
boiling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do? I mean, you know,
6 months in, you're checking on them because why did I get a charge back in 6 months? Why did they switch away from me? And you're calling them, and more times than not, here they passed away, and you're like, oh, okay, you know. It sucks. I mean, me personally, I hate losing. I can't stand it. For me, winning is a consequence. And winning is just a reaction to not losing. I mean, I was a kid, I loved winning, right? Everyone loves a W, right? Ooh, dopamine, woo. But really, I realized you had to play the long game with people, and the best way not to lose. I'm sorry, the best way to win is just not to lose. And that one came from a more historic perspective for me. because you know me, I was the master staying on the phone for 5 hours with one client. You're going to leave with 4 policies, but I'm not going to leave until we're done. Right? Everyone else would be dialing like $150 a day. I'm like, how many dollars you make? Like 20. How many sales you get? 6. I'll stay on the phone. I'll let you talk forever waiting. Not going to lose. And for me, it was just a consequence. Winning is a consequence of doing the long game and playing and just doing it right, really. You know, not leaving any door open, not missing any opportunity to put something back in the back of your head, not interrupt them or try to pounce too soon, capitalize on something that you think's like a closing opportunity when really it's just a trap. So I love it. And I mean, I can get all philosophical on it, but really when you think of like even in history, you want to go back to the Roman times, Hannibal won every battle. He lost the war because the Romans just walled them up in the city and said, I'm not going to lose. You'll outlast anyone if you just don't lose. That's what it is. If you just don't lose, you will eventually win over time. And we advocate spending time with people. So that's why I like not losing for me, because I'm not smart enough to just go in for the win every time and get it. But I am smart enough just not to lose, and not to lose over a long enough period where the person goes, well, everything's satisfied. I'm just ready to go. By the way, who else is going to spend as much time with them? I mean, for the very, very statement of just like everyone else wants to get a win really quick. I'm okay sitting on the phone with you for a few hours. No one else is going to spend that time. Not in today's age. So that's my view of it. But yeah, everyone loves a win. I love a win. I play my numbers. Try not to lose. That's just me. What do you guys thought? What are you guys' thoughts on that? No, I couldn't have shut it down. You guys can debate me on it.
Shut it down pretty good.
I mean, thoughts on it, guys. I mean, I can't just. This isn't a right or wrong conversation. It's not a right or wrong concept. I'm just explaining to you my thought process.
Well, you brought up a good point. You won the battle, but you lost the war. And I sold remodeling for years.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go in and you can wear the client down. You don't leave. You let them throw you out, type of deal. And they'll buy something, but then they have a 3-day right to rescind. And guess what? If you just kind of wear them down, they cancel,
Mm-hmm.
And that's a loss. So, there's a line there that, winning is doing everything right. It's just, you really have to communicate with the client. You need to find out what they're concerned about. What do they want? What concerns them? Don't talk about stuff they don't care about. Find out what they're interested in and build on that. You have to anchor everything with the potential client. But this is a huge topic. What is winning? What is losing?
Right?
I mean, you could get the deal and still lose the deal.
It's kind of existential, but it's
sometimes people will buy just to get you to hang up or get you out of the house.
That kind of goes back into what is the actual context and content of your conversation. Is it actually a conversation, or are you just presenting to someone?
Right. Telling's not selling.
Right. So if I'm willing to invest my time with you by having a real discussion with you in which the client is spending most of the time talking, right? I'm not the hero of this journey. They are. I'm just the guide. Right. So, I mean, really, no one's watching the movie to watch the guide. They're watching the movie to watch Indiana Jones. So let them be Indiana Jones. Let them talk. Let them discuss stuff with you.
I wanted to say the tortoise and the hare, or like looking at the Tour de France where, you've got sections. So sprints versus the marathon again.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinting versus, so you might lose a sprint, you might lose a leg of the Tour de France, but, there's a larger picture,
I've always thought of myself as the tortoise.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, there's people out there, I call them bottle rockets. They'll sell a bunch, then they have to take a couple of weeks off to recover. And, you know, just you do the right things, you do it over and over and over, you just keep going methodically, and eventually you win.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole other thing, just get, trying not to wear down. That's to take us off topic. So
That's another topic.
No. I mean, it's all the same. That's the whole thing. It's like, we don't have to have a singular topic on this. And this is one of the things, wearing people down or allowing them or exploring opportunity. It's a matter of how you want to perceive it. Whether I'm going to, and not just like semantics, the way you perceive something when you go into it is the way that you're going to let it come to you. So am I going with the intent of wearing someone down? Or am I going in there with the intent to let a conversation organically develop and explore every piece of opportunity out there for when I had this interaction with a person, whether it's an opportunity for an upsell or whether it's an opportunity to actually forge a tighter bond with somebody, and with that tighter bond, actually guarantee that I am the guy that they will get all this from. That's the real question.
I'll say this just to back you up on it. I will never approach or sell something that is not advantageous to you, or
Right.
something that I believe in as well.
Right.
But I do not go into phone calls with a sales mentality.
Oh yeah.
It is a friendship mentality.
Right.
I can give you two concrete examples. One, I had a guy, one of the transfers, it was a guy out of North Carolina. He's a retired game warden. We talked for an hour and a half and didn't even bring up Medicare. Then he's like, all right, I got to go. I was like, okay, I'll just call you next week and we'll just chat. He goes, yeah, just like talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Did not talk. I don't even know what he had. All I know is that he was just a retired game warden.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we talked about for an hour and a half and then hung up. And one lady, one of the first Advantage plans I ever did this year, she was real skeptical because she just moved. And she's like, these people call me all the time and I never get the same person, blah, blah, blah. I think I've had maybe 6 or 7 phone conversations with her, got her enrolled for a May 1st effective date. It was her birthday last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how big, or at least how I picture it, how big she smiled when the same person called her back.
Right.
And she goes, oh, you weren't kidding about this, were you?
Mm-hmm.
I go, nope, you can't get rid of me. And she goes, I like that.
That's right.
And that was a 15, 20-minute conversation about nothing.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter because that made her day. It made my day. She's not going anywhere without calling me.
Yeah. And that's why we stage your birthday calls, because we call everybody every year on their birthday, which people think, oh, that's a huge number. Well, if you got 1,000 clients, that's only a couple of people a day, right? But we do it the very first of the day because it's great to start off your day with nothing other than an agenda to make someone's day feel a little bit better and maybe get into a 15-minute conversation about what kind of cake they're going to eat. I mean, really, it's wonderful. And then they'll just give you referrals after a while. It's a great way to start. But I mean, think about, like what you're saying is real true. Realistically speaking, even if you're doing sales face-to-face, you still got to prospect the clients, right? You still got to set up those appointments and stuff like that. So you got someone on the phone, you're having a conversation, you might as well enjoy yourself, because what else are you going to do? Make another 150 dials and leave another 150 messages?
Right. What I've been making myself laugh with is here recently, I found myself getting to a point where the person's like, okay, can we just get this done with? I'm like, oh, sorry, I was like ranting about something else.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one of my favorite ladies out of Houston. I remember I was telling her about the story of the lawnmower with the broken foot and the dogs and everything.
Yeah.
It was like a 45-minute story.
It was.
After the story, she was like, her and her husband were like crying, laughing. And I was like, oh, and by the way, I've got this other story. And they're like, okay, like, we love you. We'll listen to it next time. And I was like, oh, okay, guys. It's like I found myself getting to that point where people are like, okay, you might like to talk way too much. And it's funny because I texted my mom this weekend, and I asked her, and I go, do you ever remember me losing my voice? This is the first time I think I've ever lost my voice in my life. She goes, no, I don't think you ever did. And I go, I forgot because I used to be shy and never talk. And now I can't shut up.
Well, by the way, you're like the 30-year-old embodiment of Hank Hill. Like,
Yeah, it's-
you know, really, you are. It's like, I mean, I love you, and that is great. And by the way, I identify with that completely. But I mean, when you came in and interviewed, I was like, this guy's going to be amazing because he is going to talk to this demographic perfectly. And it's both true, but it's really when you stop. I remember. Anyone remember my first rule of sales? What's the first thing you do if you want to start really getting good at sales? I say this all the
I
time.
don't know. There's so many different first rule sales.
Oh yeah, I know. Because I can't count more than 3. No, so no, you know, first rule or step 1 in being really good at sales: stop selling. Stop. Right?
That's right. People expect that. You know, that's why first thing we have to overcome, because that's who they deal with all day long.
Right.
People trying to sell them something, you know, and even with birthday calls, you know, well, it throws them completely off
I love
because you're
calling
just
them back.
calling to be their friend and say hi.
Yeah, I can hear
Oh.
you this morning. You're like, I've sold you your plan already.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just your agent.
There's another
I'm
sale call, and
just-
I'm like, you've already
No.
bought.
I'm just
Yeah.
checking.
Happy
Just making
birthday.
sure.
Exactly,
I
you
am
know.
your agent. Listen,
By the
you're
way,
not
Here's
listening.
your social.
By the way, this you guys that are newer haven't gone through this because you don't have clients that are birthday cycle yet. The euphoria that you feel when they do a 180-degree turn and they are literally swearing at you, blah 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 blah, blank blank blank, and you're blank blank blank, and they hang up, and you call them right back, and you go, and they're like, what? And they're just waiting for you to return. You go, well, this is Frank. I'm the guy that got you your G plan from Mutual of Omaha, and I was just calling to say happy birthday. And they're like, oh my God. Well, and then they're hoping beyond hope that you're actually trying to sell them something. Well, yeah. Well, what do you want? I go, well, nothing. You're just my client, and I call everybody to say happy birthday. Sometimes I'm the only one that talks to someone on their birthday, and they go, well, no one does that anymore. I go, I know. Isn't it sad? And they're like, I am so sorry that I just yelled at you. And then you talk to them for 15 minutes, and they love you even more.
I took one guy by surprise because he did that to me. He was cussing me each and every way. And I called back and I did that. Look, there's some confusion here.
Been a miscommunication.
I'm your agent. I'm wishing you a happy birthday. But at this point, I haven't told because he was real mean with me. I go, at this point, I'm not even going to tell you to have a good day. I hope you have a day. And he goes, what? And I go, that's right. Happy birthday. And I hope you have a day. And he was completely caught off guard. It was like, what? What does that mean? And I go, well, what you got planned for your birthday? Well, me and the wife are doing this, whatever. And then talk for 10 minutes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You know, and it kind of comes to one of the things too, like if you hate to lose, then you realize that everything can be said on a peerage level. Like one of the things we really try to establish here in our conversations is that, you know, people only really trust people that they respect, right? And they're not going to respect you if you're, you know, kissing their ass or if you're talking down to them. So I learned at a very early time in my career, I had to set a level of like, we're on the same level, guys. I might know more about Medicare than this, and you might be a doctor. Doesn't matter. We're talking about Medicare. So like one of the things is that everything can be a state of not losing for me. So I go, okay, good example. You ever have this? Have you guys had this yet? Where you go, you know, I always try to call people by their first name. I need to establish that connection. I need to set the fact that we are on peer level. Well, people go, what if they don't like that? Well, they'll tell you if they don't. And here's the thing, we're going to be on the same level no matter what. I'm not going to lose, right? So you hear this, you know, be like, hey, Jeff, and they'll be like, that's Dr. Thompson. And you're like, okay, well, you may call me Mr. Bryant. Half the time they go, man, I sound like that when I do that, don't I? Or they'll go, Mr. Bryant. And then 30 minutes later, like, can I call you Frank? Only if I can call you Jeff. And it establishes that kind of deal. I don't have to get one over on you, but we'll be on the same level. And that's the beauty about not losing, is that I don't have to make you lose. I just have to not lose. and then we can establish a connection that's on even footing, right? Because I can't stand it when people call me, and the nature of what I do here, I mean, how many times do you think lead vendors and carriers and FMOs and stuff call me? It's a pain because half the time I'm like, I'm talking to this kid, is what I think, because they're trying to, they're trying to suck up, and that's a very difficult thing. So our clients act the same way we do. So anyway, any more thoughts on sort of the situation here? What's going on? Any?
I was just see if any can move up.
Oh, you want to see? I want to move up here because we got to get framed. So, I mean, have you guys ever run into something like that?
I mean, I remember you running into that lady that you called ma'am accidentally, which was a terrific story here. So this lady called in, and of course, Frank does kind of like the same thing I do too, where it's like, for the first one, I'm going to call you ma'am, I'm going to call you Miss or Mrs. And then from there, we'll feel it out.
Well, let's give some context here because she was already screaming at Chris for about 10 minutes.
She screamed at like two of the admins that called. And so Frank gets on the phone and talks with her. This lady says that the word ma'am is a derogatory term, and she does not want to hear it, ever. And she goes on this long spiel. Well, she's talking to Frank. In random parts of the conversation, he will just say, ma'am. He said it the first time, and then it finally clicked in his head. He goes, oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Every 10 to 15 minutes after they were on the phone, he would say ma'am and let it slip again. And this lady got mad like the first 3 times because she thought he was doing it on purpose.
It's
He's
just
like-
he's
like, no, it's just how I'm over it.
First off, we had to establish, she's like, well, how dare you call me ma'am when I asked you? And then finally, after about 5 minutes of the rant, I go, well, I don't know what to call you because I don't know your name. She goes, you want to call me Ms. blah, blah, blah. And I went, no first name? She goes, nope. Well, Ms. blah, blah, blah. You may call me Mr. Bryant. And then she kept on calling me Mr. Bryant. And then I said, man, why do you keep doing that? Are you trying to get me mad? No, Ms. blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is this. I might not sound it, but I was born in rural Georgia and raised in Texas. Also born Catholic, single mom, and I went to the Marine Corps. So I have literally had the concept of yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, beaten into me for the first 24 years of my life. So it is a hard habit to break. I apologize ahead of time. We will go through this. It was a 3-hour conversation. By the end of it, she had actually asked, remember, she's like, may I call you Frank?
Yeah.
And then I won't use her name. Only if I get to call you this.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved me. Still hates Chris. Chris did nothing wrong. He was absolutely great.
I know.
And and that's just that's the thing. It's like, but she ended up realizing by the end of the conversation, it's not intentional. Maybe a couple times, but it's not intentional. What it is that in her want for her own version of respect, she completely forgot, and she realized towards the end of in the middle of the conversation that her perspective of insult was actually really subjugating us and discounting our experience in life, which taught us that. And I was like, and by the way, this woman had a tough life. Mm-hmm. I won't go into too much detail, but she came from a very hard part of the world and was a very progressive person in a very non-progressive part of the world, and then had a series of troubles. So this woman is tough as nails. And I think ultimately speaking, I think people that are grown, that have grown into that level of toughness and like an absurd level of stress their entire life and still overcome it, manage to survive, they're addicted to the struggle. So you got to find something to be angry at. Ultimately, though, eventually, when you start getting on their side, you get away from that firing line because you're part of the firing line in some other aspect. Like I got videos of me on camera having people screaming at me, and finally just going, okay, I've talked to this person long enough to go try this. Shut it down. I mean, you've heard me have to do this a few times. I'm trying to help you, but you don't get to tell me how I'm going to help you. So I'm going to do things one of two ways, the right way or not at all. You get to choose right now. And I've never had anyone not move forward with me. Again, it's not my loss at that point,
Right.
right? I'm trying to help. I make money doing a lot of stuff. I choose to do this because it matters, right?
I
So,
had that lady yesterday that would not give me any information, would not give me any information. And I was on the phone forever and I couldn't figure out what she had because I had no information. So she finally was like, what is the name of the company? And I could tell she was like loosening up a little bit. And I was like, I told her what it was. How do you spell that? It took forever. She finally got through and she's looking online. I'm like, look, why don't you take my phone number, call me back. I prove to you that I'm not some random call place
Right.
that you're never going to find again. And I'm not trying to take your social security. Oh, I needed a social security number because she didn't have her other numbers.
right.
And she had an identity theft before, which I get why she was like scared. So I finally, and she had to go online and make sure that there was an actual company. And then she couldn't find the phone number anyway. She called me back.
Mhm.
And then she gave me the information. I still couldn't help her because she was like out of the enrollment period time or whatever. But anyway, I talked to her for a long time, but she had to call me back. But I won her over somehow.
Well, no, because you know how many people just give up or they try to explain it away and they don't think of creative solutions like that or try to identify with the client. I mean, you'd be very surprised how rare that is to find people that are willing or able to even make that mental connection. You know, that comes from a different area. A lot of people go, okay, bye, or they'll just try to browbeat them into it. And neither one of those is a good solution.
Yeah.
So no, that's fantastic. So you were about to say something, man. I saw you stir.
No, I was thinking, I got it.
You got a sale coming?
Let the dog
You know,
Who's
So-
Yeah, Baja, man.
so I mean, yeah. By the way, how are the dogs doing?
The knee. I want to know about the knee.
The knee is fine.
Oh, good.
No more torn.
We're on to the new ailment,
Oh no.
the ear.
Oh
The
no.
ear.
The ear.
What kind of dogs are they?
So
How do you have a
expensive.
I was gonna
How do
say,
you have a hypochondriac dog?
So I don't know. I
have
don't know
a
if it's
mutt
like
dog, and
I don't know if it's
These are
like
mutts, too.
I don't know if it's like the
Well,
other
one's
dog
a beast one, sorry.
biting him. It's the young one.
Uh-huh.
But this is, did I tell you last week I was just by myself in the house? It looked like a Rambo movie. There's just random blood spots everywhere. And I didn't know if it was like
It's
from my
a
leg,
sore
from the
or
heating
something.
pad, which gets us on video. Whoever made that heating pad, I'm still debating upon suing you. It still hasn't healed yet. I didn't know if it was from my leg. I didn't know what it was from. There's just random blood spots all on the paint. But he's got this little like chipping on the bottom of his ear.
Mm.
And I guess he'll scratch it and then
Oh.
he'll open it up a little bit and then he'll shake his head and
Right.
he'll just go on the wall. So that's what we're
So-
doing now.
You know, the funny thing is that people that are watching this right now, they'll think, oh, well, that's a weird topic. You have to understand that these are the kind of conversations that we actually have with clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is stuff that you should be talking about as actual real personal
Oh,
interactions and the
I like
hilarity that
that.
ensues.
I remember I told that lady and told my mother-in-law too when I had the little heating pad incident where it turned out it was 3rd-degree burns.
No, that was
Yeah,
bad,
well, I
man. He
believe
showed it
that,
to me. I was like,
yeah.
ooh.
And I was telling the lady, she goes, "Did you throw it out?" And I go, "Absolutely not." She
Again,
goes,
hang
she
tight.
goes, she goes, why didn't you throw the heating pad out that gave you 3rd-degree burns? I go, because it works.
Because it's eventually going to burn your
There's
house
the-
down too,
Yeah.
Jacob.
They're
It works
supposed
too
to
good.
But
turn-
it works.
The new ones turn themselves off after. a
This
while.
had a turn off. It did.
Well, apparently
I'm not
he's
gonna
had the
show you the
same
picture,
heating
but-
pad
Yeah.
since 1963.
Yeah.
This was like a month and a half ago. I fell asleep with it on my leg and it burned a hole
My,
in my
um,
leg.
my
You know that's a
daughter fell-
malfunctioning heating pad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked it up. I don't have a case.
My
'cause I
daughter
can't
fell
prove
asleep
it.
with her leg on the big block, the Apple big block charger, and she got like 2nd-degree burns on her leg,
Oh,
Oh,
I still have a
man.
wound.
and she's got a big old scar.
Dear Lord.
Yeah.
You guys have to throw that. They're not supposed to get that hot.
That's
Right?
You have to. No, because that's how
She
your
throw it out. She threw it
Yeah,
out.
I was about to say.
I got pissed because I was like, "Why would you throw it out? That's the good one."
that's how your
I
bed
said, "We have
catches
another
fire.
one." I go, "That one doesn't get hot enough."
You know, why don't you just take up smoking and smoke in your bed? Because that's about what you're doing.
Fall asleep with
I told her my voice doesn't get
Right.
You're like, does Tempur-Pedic catch fire? Because
Just
I'm
get a
really
water
digging
bed.
this
Water
heating
doesn't
pad.
catch on fire. Water good.
Yeah, it just melts, and then
Then water. Then you just have the water in a flood in your house.
you just drown in your water bed. That's great.
I had before I came in here, a call, but that I wasn't able to help him right now do
Mhm.
anything. We have an appointment in October to see the new plans. But we had, I was just glad that I had so much background in working in the medical field, so I was prepared.
Mhm.
But the gentleman was telling me about some of his health issues and trying to get to ask me what did I think he could do. And I said, I think you should tell your doctor how important it is to you and blah, 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 blah. Because obviously his doctor, who he's already brought it up to, had other concerns that he wanted to take care of immediately. But I said, I think if he realizes it's in the forefront of your mind, that he'll work on it with you sooner than later. But, sometimes we get even TMI,
Oh, it can get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It can get uncomfortable.
Well, I at least wasn't, because I have so much background in medicine, but
Somebody said to me when I told him that I lived in Texas, he was like, "Oh, did you save horses and ride cowboys?" And I was like, I think I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. And then he just would not stop talking like that. And finally I was like, yeah, you have a good day.
yeah, right,
I'm out.
Right. Yeah,
There's a few times I've been like, yeah, you have a good day.
right.
It's
Time
just
out.
not going there.
Yeah.
At one point, there's a great comedian named Pete Holmes, and he has this bit about like telemarketers and how everyone hates them and stuff like that. He's like, I love them guys. They're a gift from God because they can't hang up.
My kids mess with them so bad.
Right,
Oh,
right. Here's the thing. We're not telemarketers.
No.
We can hang up.
Yeah.
So the issue that you run into is that concept of it. Sometimes people are messing with you. It's okay.
Yeah.
But there's one bit where he goes there and he's just messing with this person for like 5 minutes. And what it is Chase Bank trying to let him know that there's been a fraud charge on his card.
Oh no.
Oh.
So he's doing it like, I don't know. And then as the voice keeps on going, he's like, oh no. So can we just stop on that real quick? The guy's like, yeah. Right. And that's one of the things out here. So, I mean, right now you guys are doing great. Penny, right now you're number one for the month.
Yay.
Right. So you're rocking it. Christine, you've been here a week
Mhm.
and you were already selling, like you got,
Well, 3 advantage plans, and then I got to still work on that other final expense.
well, you
Start
got the
getting
final
something
expense.
else.
We just had to get it rolling on
Yeah.
that one. So you sold it. It had an issue. We're rewriting it today.
Yeah, I got to get a hold of him still.
But think about the progression here, and this is very important, especially for people that might be watching, especially for those that are just starting their career. Most good agents out on their own. I mean, you did your own agency before you came here and decided to come in this. The quantitative difference in the amount of repetitions you get is immense, and that lets you guys experiment, right? You're never going to do this like I do it, and I couldn't do it like you're doing it,
Right.
right? So that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you get to have fun.
Well, I even still listen. I mean, since I'm so new, when I hear somebody on the phone talk, I'll even kind of pause and kind of listen sometimes to other people talking to people on the phone, just to hear their perspectives and hear how you guys are talking, or hear how somebody else is talking, just for ideas, or just to see how somebody else is doing it. Just for ideas, or just for examples.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
and sometimes you can find things like, oh, I like the way they said that.
Mhm.
And you can try out new phrases and stuff for yourself.
Especially when you're leaving messages.
Yeah.
It always feels so
Yes.
silly sometimes.
You weren't here the day Rip.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
I saw that though online.
Oh,
Where
you
he
did?
sang. He was like,
Yes.
he sang or
He
something.
sang this jingle that we had put out on a
1-800
commercial
Gurus or
for a
something?
while, and yes.
I saw that on somewhere. It was like best voicemail ever. And
Oh.
I saw that on something.
And yes, that customer did call him back.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they would block the number if I tried to sing on it.
Hey, at least they know you're a real person,
Right.
It is true. Yeah.
right? And by the way, this whole standpoint of, as you guys continue to develop, there's more training tools that are available to you. that we're about to release to the general audience, but also about to release to you guys first, which go over concepts that we developed for years. And one of those is this: just be genuine. If you rehearse stuff too much and you try to act too professional, you're fake,
Yeah.
right? Especially like we younger guys, like Jacob, for example. Younger guys like Jacob tend to have a need to be like, ooh, very official, and
Right.
I'll use $5 words to explain a really simple concept, and well, this is the most equitable prospect for you. Nah, you don't talk like that. Hey man, this is the best thing for you. That's it. And people respond to it. I mean, if you're that guy, if you sound like a British banker and that's your persona, then that's the way you're going to come off. It'll still be
Right.
natural for you. Right now, we don't got any of those folks in the office. We
Right.
had before. Oh my God. We had an older gentleman who has been a professional salesperson in many fields. He actually retired from here. He had a British colonial South African accent. Very good.
Neat.
Oh, so good. And it wasn't like the Afrikaans accent from up north where it's a little bit of Dutch mixed in. No, it was British. And he sounded amazing. And he could pull that off, right? He sounded like a South London gangster sometimes. It was fantastic. I won't use his name here for his own privacy, but that guy could pull off that eloquent
Right.
speech because that was his natural patterns.
Right.
We don't need to.
Yeah.
No,
I mean-
I can't speak eloquently if
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, for him trying to like take it down a notch would be not genuine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And his comfort level, he would be out of his comfort zone. And when you're out of your comfort zone, people know it.
Yeah.
And especially, this is the biggest thing because I've done both face-to-face sales and I've done over the phone sales. When people lack a certain sense, especially when it comes to hearing, their sense of hearing becomes really acute. And almost all indicators of stress are vocal, right? So if they can't see you, they're going to be really listening to you. And it picks up if you're not comfortable real easily.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to be something you're not, they're going to cue it up right away, immediately. They won't know what it is, but they're like, nah, it's
Yeah.
not sitting right. Highly suspect. And that's just one of the things, right? Be yourself, right? And that's I hope you guys understand that when it comes to coaching. A lot of times people have this need to go, well, you need to say it exactly like this, and you need to do this, and hey. I ask that you smile, because when you smile, it sounds a little bit better.
Mhm.
And also, via test and everything else, if you're smiling a little bit, then it actually makes you feel a little happier. I like to be happy. So
I do it when I'm leaving messages. I smile before I start the message.
kind of have to, And then if you noticed over time, you've had to leave fewer and fewer messages before people call you back because you're getting better and better at them. And that's it. So, what else you guys want to talk about? What else you guys have to say about that kind of stuff?
I'm more comfortable this week than last week leaving messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It
it's
comes-
just repetition. I think just the more do it, the easier it is.
And also leaving you guys available to experiment, giving you guys frameworks and guidelines, but saying, hey, you're going to make it your own.
Mhm.
I don't think I'll ever get to the point of singing like
No.
like Grit did. But hey, I definitely liked that phone call he
That's
made.
funny.
That
Yeah.
was a good message.
It does, yeah. And I mean,
I think it was on LinkedIn or something. I saw it. Maybe I saw.
is that what made you want to come work with us?
No,
Or was
I
like,
just saw
that's
it the other day. I just saw it.
did you see it and go, oh no, what have I done?
No, I didn't see it before. No.
Why am I with those people?
Oh my God, it's a madhouse.
They're crazy.
No, it's more like, oh, thank God, I'm not the craziest one.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it was like super quiet and everybody's all like super serious, I probably would have lasted about 2 days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't do
We
that.
spend the majority of our lives together, right?
Right. It's a big chunk. 8 hours a day
And even
and
more.
more during
I mean,
sometimes.
you guys, I don't think I've seen any of y'all put in just an 8-hour day in a long time. I always see y'all like even up till the mark are still making calls or being on the phone. I don't see hell. I mean, right now it's lunchtime. You guys are going to go eat and stuff like that. But a lot of times you guys are on the phone dialing through lunch. The only reason y'all came in here right now because there was just no one on the phone at that moment.
Right.
And you saw people leave, right? Because they're going to make more sales or they're going to go grab a bite to eat.
Right.
The issue that you run into is that eventually once you get good at it and you like it and you enjoy what you're doing, you kind of lose track of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on a phone call that's going well or you're just chit chatting, all of a sudden like 2 hours is gone. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
what happened
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. I've never been a big advocate of making your hobbies your career because then you end up hating your hobby.
Mm.
But I've always been an advocate of you should really enjoy what you do.
Mhm.
And if you don't do it, I get it. The reason they call it a job is because it is a trial with a reward at the end, just like the biblical sense. However, I don't have a job. I have a career. And that's something that I've been comfortable doing it for 14 years. I still do it now. And I don't see a problem doing it with another 20. Right?
Yeah.
And to me, Brad, you could have retired years ago. A lot of the guys that work with us, they could have retired years ago. They still do it because it's enjoyable to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to talk to. There's a lot of really nice people we get to talk to.
And even the ones that aren't nice, it's fun to talk to them, especially when you crack that shell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are the ones that really open up. They love you. They love you. You'll hear a lot of unique things, but they love you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If the end of the world comes, I know plenty of survivalists that.
Yeah. Oh, I even have some that cry that are just like, thank you. I can't tell you, thank you so much. And they start crying.
Well, it's stress.
Yeah.
It's a stress relief.
It is a relief to know that somebody is actually listening and taking care of what you need and helping you, because a lot of them don't have any family members helping them.
Mhm.
And then what they're used to is 15 calls a day from
And then
the
people,
same number and all
they're on
that kind of.
those people are just like, what do you have? Okay, let's put you in this one because this is better, even if it's not better. And we're not doing that. We're
Right.
like making sure if they're in the best plan, I'm gonna be like, you're in the best plan.
Exactly.
Well, it's just like the one I do for Kim this morning. We could not do anything that would put her in an objectively and demonstrably better position than what she currently had.
Right.
So we said that.
Mhm.
And then she went, oh, wait, what about my husband?
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting him 2 plans. Oh, we're getting him a final expense and a new Advantage plan.
Oh, that's
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
So we already got the Advantage plan done. He just has to wait until next month so he gets his next payment so he can get the final expense.
Right.
I called out one of the T65 leads earlier and was leaving a big long message, and the guy picked up and I told him what I was doing, and he was like, oh, wait. He's like, yeah, she's all set, but I need some help.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
that's great.
It's not yet, not till January, but still. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Don't
but
talk
no, that's
like,
right around the
Don't talk
corner.
to anybody
Yeah.
else. Just ignore these commercials. Here, call me. When
Joe
you
Namath doesn't know what he's talking
Or
about.
Jimmy Walker, whatever. No, none of that. Isn't that who
Right.
that is? From Good Times? Or
We don't know. I mean, that's the thing. That's the
okay.
running joke. It's the running joke. It's like, yeah, the guy that has SAG, Screen Actors Guild insurance, and the guy that has NFLP Players Association insurance really doesn't.
Right.
They don't know.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
The flip side of that too is that, and this is something to really think about. When people are angry and people are mean, that's usually because they're in a fear state or they're in a pain state. The human brain does not know the difference between physical and emotional pain.
Right.
It acts the exact same.
Yeah.
And whenever someone's in pain, they get highly irritable and they lash out. It's a defense mechanism.
Right.
I was trying to convince somebody earlier today, he makes $1,647 a month, but he doesn't qualify for Medicaid because he's like $150, $100 something over, right? He would not listen to me that I would say, look, you need to get structured where you can get under that. You can get on Medicaid, then you can get this other plan. Oh, no. I'm like, okay, he was so scared to lose that $100 that he's got coming to him to gain it back when he would get his Part B paid for and all these other stuff on an Advantage plan, but he would not.
Wow.
I was
So someone is motivated highly by a fear of loss,
Yes.
right?
Oh, and
So
he
opportunity
was-
for gain is not going to get him.
No.
So how do we rephrase that conversation and shed the paradigm to where no longer should you be fearing losing that $100? You should be fearing losing the $1,000 in benefit that you should be getting right now.
I tried. I was
Because
like-
that's,
Yeah.
you're going to lose that.
I was telling, I
Right.
was like, your social security check will go up $170 a month. So there it's coming back, and you'll have these advantage plans where you're getting all these extra benefits. You know, I tried, but I
Oh, wait. That's an opportunity for gain. If someone's telling you they don't want to lose anything,
Yeah.
then you go, okay, well, right now you are losing X, Y, and
That's a good way
Z.
of-
Because that's the thing. He can't articulate it. He doesn't
Right.
get it. No one gets it.
Yeah,
But he's already demonstrated by the fact that you said, oh, you can get this. Well, that's an opportunity for gain and benefit. But people aren't motivated by opportunity in most cases. They're motivated by some form of fear. And it's just a matter of the
Yeah.
fear of X outweighs the fear of Y.
He had sounded like he has very
Right.
messed up a
But
little. Yeah.
Just next time, you will encounter that on a daily basis. Next time someone goes, I don't want to lose this. And it's like, I don't want to lose this $25 food card. Fine. Maybe you have $50. We ran into that with that one lady. She was adamant, I don't want to lose this $75 food benefit. Well, okay, right now you are losing basically between your prescription benefit that you would be getting, you're losing $150 a month right now.
You know how I finally got her? She had already used her dental benefit, all of it maxed it. She'd already used it on the one.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, so when you compare your current plan to this other plan, it's basically a zero dental benefit versus $3,000 dental benefit for the rest of the year.
Right,
That's how I got her.
right. But you're perceiving the difference in loss. She didn't want to lose her
Yeah.
dental, but she doesn't have dental anymore. So now
Right.
you're losing the new dental.
And she needed more dental. So I was like, you got a whole nother set, $3,000, use it this year and it'll reset next year.
But if you don't do it right now, you lose it.
Right. So that's how I got her. That's
So-
when I finally got her to realize, oh,
yeah,
and
good.
she did that. She multiplied that 75 times 12. She did that math so many
Instantly.
times. No, so many times that she just would not agree with my numbers. How
Of
do you
course
get that again?
Because you've already maxed out your dental. It's already
that's,
over.
That's how I got her when she finally.
You have
realized
zero
it.
dental.
Yeah.
That's how I finally got her.
So, and that's wonderful. Just remember though, guys, people don't always have a fear of loss. It could be a fear of pain. It could be a fear of being a burden. It could be
Yeah.
a fear of anything.
Yeah.
There's a fear of something. There's a reason why lizards can make decisions and humans can make decisions because we share the same part of the brain, right? And that's
Lizards?
yeah,
Is that what you
it's
said? Well, they can
yeah,
grow new
it's in the
tails.
limbic system.
I never grew a new tail. If I had one before, I never grew it back.
But they manage to not set themselves on fire just like we do.
Yeah.
Hopefully, unless you're Jacob with a freaking heating pad from the Great Depression.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so jeez, he just doesn't want to lose that heating pad. Burn the house down, but man, I still got my heating pad.
I know.
He is right that those old ones, those work. They had like that burnt orange color cover or mustard yellow cover or something. That's what.
It
they
just
work
came
better.
looking dirty and sweaty,
Yes.
so they didn't have to worry. You don't have to wash the cover. It already
Hey.
came sweat stained. So,
Oh.
but yeah, just think about that when you're recounting those kind of things. Break away a little bit, don't push, and go and find out what is causing that fear point.
Yeah.
Why? And then know that that's their motivator. Let's figure out some other fears that trump that and satisfy those. If you can satisfy someone's fear, you'll make a friend. And if you make a friend, you'll make a sale. Figure out what motivates people. And that's the
I'm
pain
supposed
points
to
everyone
call him
talks
back.
about.
I'm supposed to call him back in a couple of weeks. He's calling Medicaid back and trying to work on it some more. So
If he's losing benefits right now, he's not able to access benefits right now. He's losing benefits.
I know.
So you just,
Well, what is a good? Are there suggestions on how to lower his income? Just don't work as much. I mean, just say don't work as much.
I won't make those suggestions.
Don't make the suggestions.
That's not my place. I'm a Medicare specialist.
Right.
And by the way,
That's kind of what I've said too. Like I can't.
if he qualifies for low income subsidy, not necessarily Medicaid, we can switch him
That's
over.
what I told him. I told him exactly that. I was like, you need to call and say this exact thing. Call Social Security and say, I want you to see if I qualify for low income subsidy. Period.
Yeah.
You can look up low income subsidy availability through a couple of tools like Jarvis and also Marks.
I'm not
So
on
if
He
you
wa-
don't
yeah,
if you don't
he
have any of
wasn't-
those,
I looked him up in Jarvis and he said no for
Jarvis is well, then he's not available. We are not in a special. He's not in a special election period
No,
at
I
this
know.
point. Then,
Right.
so at least we can start the relationship and get him on that. Also, get him on final expense.
Oh, I didn't even try because he's like
okay.
so scared about money and his girlfriend. They're in poverty and they're in New Jersey and they were going to move to the Philippines and that.
That's a great conversation to have, though.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, you're living on the edge. One of the things you're looking at is the people that you love that take care of you, that take care of you when you're sick and when you're hurt. They're also going to be taking care of you when you're dead. And the worst thing in the world I can think of is the person that cares about me the most in the world that will actually take the time to take care of me. Their last memory of me is going to have to be coming out of pocket, putting themselves deeper in a hole to put me in a hole.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that me personally, I make great money. I still have those things set up because if my mom outlives me, she's not going to have to deal with it. My little sister, contingent, right? And I even have trust set up, but I'm not going to ever have a situation with anyone that has to deal with that, especially because I do make great money. I'm not going to have anyone have any inconvenience other than the fact that they just need to mourn me. And that's just my view of it. And a lot of people view that way. It's just because you can't afford it doesn't, but you can afford it. You can afford some level of it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is. Let's break it away from the money component. Let's break it away from the money component and the afford it. You know, we budget necessities first. Taking care of those that we love is a necessity. It is biological in us. So anyway,
No, yeah, that's all good. That's all good.
I think
Yeah.
I think I'm getting called by a client, so I think we've been about an hour, so I want to wrap it up. Guys, ladies and gentlemen out there watching us out in the interwebs, make sure if you want to get more of this content, you want to get more of the training material, if you want to see what we're all about, go to insurasales.com and make sure you sign up for InsurALink. It's a free service where you can get access to us and also coordinate with other agents in the industry. It's an agent-only for agents by agents platform to where we can all learn and share. So other than that, you guys be well and, enjoy.
Next time.
Thanks, guys. That was
You
good.
bet.
That was good.